Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion over here on YouTube, exclusively to our YouTube channel. Today we'll be chatting about Sam Johnstone. Should he leave West Bromwich Albion this transfer window, or should he stay and stick out his contract until it runs out? We'll be chatting through all the pros and cons of each side of that, and also talking a little bit about who might be interested in him if he is to move on. All in this video. If you enjoy it, make sure to subscribe. There's been plenty of new subscribers to the channel, so if that's you, hello, welcome. We're providing all the latest Albion content about every single transfer match, podcast episodes as well. There's plenty of stuff going on here on our YouTube channel, so be sure to click subscribe. We're heading for 1,000 subscribers. Nearly there, so very nearly there. So yeah, if you could drop a subscription, it's free. Just click subscribe. That would be amazing, and it would really help me out. But yeah, we'll crack on. We'll talk a little bit about Sam Johnstone today. Yeah, if you're new around here, please subscribe. Comment your thoughts down below. Would you like to see him stay? Would you like to see him given a new contract? Would you like to see him leave the club for good in January? Or would you like to see him leave, potentially in July when his contract runs out? Drop me your comments in the comments below. Sam Johnstone, he's ending up with 6 months left on his contract, and he's a player that he could potentially leave Albion in January and could also leave at the end of the season. This video is sort of going to take you a little bit through discussing why he should stay, why he should leave, that kind of thing. He's 28 years old, England international, of course. We've all seen him play for England, all seen him play very well for England, all seen him play very, very well for West Bromwich Albion as well. Let's not forget that. I'm going to keep reiterating that throughout this video, but let's not forget with his recent mistakes, how influential he was to us last season and has been for parts of this season. He's played all but one of Albion's league games this season. Obviously, he didn't play the first game of the season against Bournemouth, where David Button played instead. But yeah, the bottom line is Sam Johnstone could leave the club for absolutely nothing in the summer. So is it worth shipping him out and selling him this January rather than letting his contract run out for nothing? Because somebody could be willing to pay this January. Somebody could be willing to come in for him in the winter window rather than the summer window. And if we can get some money for him, maybe that might be a move worth looking at. So there are three clubs I'd say that could be potentially interested in him. It's Newcastle United, it's West Ham, and it's also Southampton. I think they're all interested. Could potentially want a new goalkeeper. Maybe Newcastle and especially Southampton. I think there's quite a few gaps in their goalkeeping regime at the moment. They've got obviously they've got Alex McCarthy, I think, in there. They've got Willie Caballero, who's brought in on emergency sort of free transfer to pitch a gap due to injuries and whatnot in their goalkeeping lineup. But I think that if Sam Johnstone is going to move somewhere, I think maybe Southampton or Newcastle would be ideal for him. I feel like if we can get anywhere near, get 5 million or more for him now in the January window, for a player that's running out of contract in the summer, I'd probably like that. I'd probably, take that if you were Albion. I don't want to diss him. I don't want to, slander him. I don't want to be rude about him or anything like that. But I think he's come to the end of his time at West Brom. I feel like he has kind of left us in his mind, kind of. I feel like his mind's sort of elsewhere. Maybe that's just me reading a little bit into him. It's not somebody I know personally at all, so I woun't be able to tell you that for certain. But he doesn't quite seem like the same Sam Johnstone we saw that was racing back from England duty to playing games earlier on in the season. This seems like a Sam Johnstone who potentially would want to leave the club. But obviously, I'm just reading from what I can see from the stand, really. But his body language in the Cardiff game wasn't very good, quite switched off. The same in the got sent off in that game as well for violent conduct, which will be out for 3 games now. So I think he could play possibly. Could he possibly play 1 game in January now, or no? None, actually. I don't think he can play. I feel like we've kind of ran out of games in January for him, to be honest. But I feel like Albion have come a long way with Sam Johnstone. You saw quite a timid goalkeeper, coming in the start of his career at Albion. A player who didn't really like commanding in his area, but soon came to grow and soon came to be involved in it. I feel like He's a guy that hasn't always been great at commanding his area. I will say that. He hasn't always been fantastic at coming out from goal, coming out and sort of taking the ball off opposition players, coming out and sort of clearing him, the defenders in front of him and anything to get the ball away. I feel like that's never quite been him. But this season he's kind of adapted to being more of a sweeper keeper, as Valérien Ismaël looks to kind of combat, find a way to combat his high line and how that we end up getting the ball lumped over us and Sam Johnstone has to come rushing out. I do feel like that's quite a good thing, and I do feel like he's adapted his game a little bit this season, which is fair play, and that's completely testament to his commitment and desire for the cause earlier on in this season. But he got sent off in the Cardiff game for violent conduct. That was very unlike him. As I said, I don't know him as a person, but I've never seen him show that sort of aggression on the pitch. Maybe that's something other fans of teams that have watched him would be able to tell me, but he certainly doesn't strike me as the guy who's going to go rushing out his goal and hitting players or whatever. So, yeah, for me, I feel like that he made a big mistake against Derby. A lot of miscommunication between him and Cedric Kipre. I'd personally blame Johnson in that instant. I feel like he has to stay at home, but again, that's not really a reason why you should. If you're judging Sam Johnston's Albion career on 2 games, I thought I'd just pop them in here as a sign of maybe he doesn't look as interested as normal. But that doesn't certainly make him a bad goalkeeper at all. And I've seen quite a few people on social media saying Johnston, he needs to go. He's lost his touch and stuff like that. He really hasn't. I feel like he wants this move away. I feel like he may want to leave, and I feel like that might be towards his perhaps below par performances so far over the past couple of games. But he's not alone in the team. He's not the only person who perhaps looks a little bit disinterested, a little bit off the pace. There are certainly other players who do look a lot more off the pace. To be quite honest, there's so many players in there who don't look quite on it, don't look switched on enough, and Johnson is certainly not alone in that. In terms of what I think about Sam Johnstone, obviously could leave in the summer for nothing, but offers this January are going to be quite low. The West Ham 6 million bid, certainly doesn't look that bad after all, to be quite honest. You look at the bid for him back in January. Back in the summer, sorry, and we all laughed at it, but I'd probably take 6 million for him now. If he's not gonna sign a new deal, that's the thing. I'm happily keep him on a new deal. But it's clear that I don't think he's going to end up signing a new deal at Albion. I feel like if his time's going to come to an end, it may as well do it. When we can get a bit of money for him rather than letting him go for free, because that's a lot of investment. He's a player that you've played constantly for 4 years now. I think. Why would you want to see him go? Why would you want to let him leave? You've played a guy. You've shown some faith in him. You've shown a lot of faith in his development. You've given him the platform to become an England goalkeeper. Why would you let him go for free? Why wouldn't you try and get some money out of him if he is to leave? Obviously, if he signs a new contract, I'm also very happy because he's a fantastic goalkeeper. Let's not forget what he did last season for us. Kept us in so many games, and believe me, we needed keeping in some of them, and we needed it not to look embarrassing in some of them. There were games we were losing 5-0, which could have easily been 10-0. If Sam Johnstone wasn't involved and wasn't playing. But yeah, I feel like Sam Johnston's done a fantastic job at Albion. Let's not forget that. I feel like last season was definitely a highlight for him personally, and a highlight for Albion fans, watching him get into the England squad, go into the Euros as well. That was amazing, and I'm sure he'll want to stake a claim for the England squad at the World Cup this summer. And I feel like that's got to be done with a Premier League move. He must be frustrated watching somebody like Aaron Ramsdale performing really well at Arsenal, getting himself into the England squad, possibly taking the number 2 spot off him for England, and he must be thinking, I can't really gravitate my game here at West Brom unless we get promoted, and for that to happen, he'll need to either leave in January or stay until the end of the season and sign a new deal, because his deal doesn't stretch as long as possibly Albion getting promoted at the end of this season. Obviously, that's unlikely at the moment, but in terms of backups, what we've got Alex Palmer, formerly on loan at Lincoln City. Done a really good job there and showed a really good spirit in goal in some of the games that I've watched of him, even though a couple of I've seen under 23s games. Obviously watching the cup game against Arsenal, could play in the cup maybe against Brighton on the weekend. We'll see. But yeah, we got David Button in there as well. Josh Griffiths is on loan at Lincoln. I'd love to see him given a chance if Sam Johnstone is to leave. I'm sure that them banning him from being in the FA Cup could potentially be something that Albion are looking at, because if Sam Johnstone leaves, then they've got to bring in a replacement. They've got to bring in somebody new, and Josh Griffiths is potentially somebody who you could recall if that. But fair play to him. He came back from England duty earlier, Sam Johnstone, and showed that he really wanted to be a part of it. Don't let his mistakes of late kind of transform your opinion of him, because he is still a very good goalkeeper and has proved it for us numerous times. I did have doubts about him in his first season for Albion in the 18-19 season, but he's certainly come through those and certainly shown something a lot better than that. So that's amazing. I'd love to, I'd love to see him progress and move into the Premier League, and I'd love to see him become an England goalkeeper and do really well for the country. But in terms of Albion, I feel like if he wants to progress to the World Cup squad, I'm not convinced he can do it for Albion here, because he's playing in a system where mistakes are prone, because there's a high line. He's having to rely on his judgment. I'm not convinced that he has that commanding of the area naturally. So I would love to see him being given a chance elsewhere where he could potentially flourish and become an England goalkeeper again, and continue to play games for England. I feel he's played his last game for us, if I'm being honest. That's a shame for me to say, but I don't want him to leave. I'd like him to sign a new contract, but I do feel like he's played his last game for us, and it's just a question of where he goes. So comment your thoughts down below. Do you think Sam Johnstone is going to leave the club, or whether he'll stay at West Brom and Albion? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe. I'd love to see him stay, but I can't see it happening. I feel like he's on the way out, and possibly this January, if we're going to make any money, we'd like that to happen now. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, comment your thoughts, drop a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.